All right, I have not long before I take off for my meditation retreat. It's the evening of the 2nd of October now, and I leave on the 4th through the 15th. So you won't even be able to contact me the 4th through the 15th. I've been a little bit nervous for this meditation retreat. It's it's weird, I'm as nervous for this as I have been for like mountain climbing or my major overseas adventures to Africa, stuff like that. And even more so because my neck's off. My neck's off today. It's feeling really bad. I got a horrible migraine and feel a little sick to my stomach, like that level of stuff. It's a bit hard to describe to people that, well, to anyone basically. I have heard of some people with Klippel-Feil syndrome before actually that get essentially permanent migraines. And then if you've had them for a while, you know that, imagine if you had a migraine for months on end or years on end, then it would kind of add up. And I've been able to do some stuff that's been able to get mine to go down to kind of even a light headache at times, but then it increases if my neck comes out of alignment, and there's not much I can do about it. Uh, I can adjust my neck a little bit actually, which is kind of weird. Uh, it's supposed to kind of not be possible, but it is. But I can never get it correct, and that's making me really nervous for this meditation retreat. Now it works out well because my as far as my teaching goes, the kids in China are on vacation this week, so I've had a ton of classes canceled this week, and then my chiropractor is on vacation this week as well, so I can't get an adjustment anyway. So it's a perfect week and I mean it'll be a little more than a week that I'll be gone. And I have to drive 3 hours to almost the other side. It's like 2.5 hours or something like that, almost to the other side of Michigan to do it. And then I have the 10-day retreat, and then I drive that same amount back. So it could go very, very bad, very poorly. And probably never, I mean, no matter what I do, it would probably be immense amount of pain over the next week or almost 2 weeks. Probably immense amount of pain over the next 2 weeks, the way it's going to go. And I think I would guess that I'll see a decent or at least noticeable cognitive decline in the next 2 weeks, because when this is out of alignment, I seem to see that. And when that bone presses into my brainstem, I get really sedated. I can barely even stay awake to read. So that'll be really hard at a meditation retreat too. I, I don't really know if this is a good decision or not, but it's like, what are you going to limit yourself to? I can't go for hikes or walks. I can't drive anywhere because all that impact throws my neck off, and I feel to a certain extent like I can do nothing, which is an overly broad generalization, but it's still a feeling that I'm having a hard time not feeling. Now I'm trying to focus on these different things, like what I can do. I heard or I saw a post recently from a very interesting person, Lisa Van Dam, from the Van Dam Academy, which is awesome school, is as far as I could tell. Decent amount of famous people send their kids there, that type of thing, and very unique. I align with her beliefs quite a bit, and she had a friend that was a Navy SEAL. He died recently in a skydiving accident, and she was talking about when he was a Navy SEAL, he was in a training accident and broke his neck. And his reaction to that was, great, I'll have time to learn French, which is amazing. Then obviously recovered and got up to skydive and everything again. So it's incredible and it's awesome to have that attitude. And it's not the easiest attitude to have, of seeing some sort of gain in something. And to a certain extent, I can see the gain and experience immense amounts of pain or even cognitive decline, stuff like that, to show you different perspective and experience new things. But when it becomes chronic or just over and over long periods of time, I mean, the gain, I lose it. I don't see it. I just see pain and losing your mind. Uh, so, anyways, I don't think there's a real downside to going to this meditation retreat because it's not like I can get adjusted anyways, and I'm going to be experiencing pain anyways. My hope is that through this meditation experience, I will be able to work on coping with my pain a bit more. I don't know if that'll be true or not. Of course, doctors have been useless, but the thing they always offer are drugs and painkillers. But those just, I mean, they don't help. You develop resistances to them. You have to take more. They mess up your cognitive function anyways. They cause damage to your organs, yada, yada, yada. So those cause a lot of bad things. So I'm not going to go in the drug direction, and it actually doesn't work on me anyways. I haven't had anyone be able to explain that. But as far as my experience with doctors is they're not an intelligent group of people anyways. They're apparently good at taking tests, otherwise they wouldn't have become doctors. But generally not very intelligent people. And at least as far as like using logic and stuff like that, it's some weird beliefs come out of doctors, and a lot of what they say, just like if you look up logical fallacies, doctors seem to just use logical fallacies. They don't use anything that's not a logical fallacy. It's amazing when you go in and say I have a migraine, that then diagnose you as having a migraine. Real genius. uh, but I'm hoping that this will be a positive way to help deal with the pain to a certain extent. And I don't know if that's going to be true or not. I don't even really know if I'm going to be able to physically do it. They have cushions you sit on in kind of a classic meditation position, which has always been uncomfortable for me. And now I think I know why, because I have an extra vertebrae at the bottom of my spine, which is pretty large and makes the bottom of my spine work a little bit differently. And that's makes sense why that's never felt comfortable in. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not. I informed them about my spinal deformities, and we will have a chair available special for me. So that should help, and then hopefully I don't fall asleep and fall out of the chair. We'll see how that goes. But it's almost like I have to do it. Like, what can I do if I can't go to a meditation retreat? Like, I understand certain limits. Like, I can't go tutor in France. I can't go teach in China. I can't go to a computer school in California. I can't go mountain climbing. I can't go skydiving. I can't go on hikes. I can't go drive around wherever I want. I can't ride a motorcycle. I can't ride a horse. There's a lot of stuff I can't do, and I mean, it makes sense. I accept that there's a lot of stuff I can't do. It's been hard accepting that there's a lot of stuff I can't do, but there's a lot of stuff I can't do. Okay. And if I have to add meditation retreat to the list, it's so sad and pathetic and so low. What can you do if you can't go to a meditation retreat? All you do is sit there, meditate. You should at least be able to do that. So I don't think, especially because the chiropractor's away, and don't have very many kids to teach this week anyways, it's a perfect time to do it. I'm definitely going to do it. Hopefully it doesn't go extremely horrible. I feel like I've been hit in the back of the head with a bat, so not starting off from the best base. I'm hoping I can change my mindset a little bit too and see something positive, allow me to focus on the things that I can do. It's pain. Pain definitely can distract you quite easily from what you're focused on, and I've dealt with chronic pain before, and I've dealt with a lot of acute pain, but chronic pain in your head specifically is so distracting. And then of course after I had my bone be misaligned for quite a while, I start suffering cognitive declines too, and it's incredible. It's insane. So just the inability to focus or to think things through, and it's when you have a problem with your brain, it's hard to use your brain to problem solve the problem with your brain. It becomes quite the paradox, quite the conundrum. And I don't think there's any normal doctor I think doctor is supposed to translate as something like healer or something, and mostly a worthless bunch, right? We could basically replace doctors with Wikipedia and Facebook and Amazon, but except for the government laws, of course, that makes doctors useful in emergency medicine, right? We do pretty well at emergency medicine, and we do well at some surgeries. Diagnosis, they're retarded. It's not even close, not even close at all. House, the show, is a fictional show. There is no doctor like House. They made him up, and as you can see from the house or from that show, he would be quite the outcast. And in real life, he would have his license taken away. So even if a doctor like House did exist, he would then become not a doctor. And there is no doctor like that. And then, of course, you couldn't get access to him anyways, unless you had some sort of like political pull and a bunch of money. No one normal could get access to really good doctors. It's just not possible to get access to a good doctor in the world as it exists. But that is our context, right? We're like pieces on a chessboard. We can move around on the chessboard, but we're not changing the chessboard. So I'm hoping that something positive comes out of the meditation retreat, and if nothing positive comes out of it, well, I hope it at least helps me cope with the pain a little bit better, at least while I'm there. That would be helpful. It would get me through what's going to be a very hard week, week and a half, 2 weeks anyway. It's going to go rough if I do nothing. It's going to involve a lot of me sitting or laying in or standing in a decent amount of pain. So I hope something good comes out of it. I hope it doesn't go very poorly. I feel like it definitely could. And it's incredible that I'm contemplating not going to a meditation retreat because I can't do it. It seems like the last thing in the world that you should not be able to physically do, because there's almost zero physicality to it. It's quite disheartening. It's quite disheartening. So not a very positive update, but but I'm gonna work on finishing up a couple of books before I get off. I got done reading my Alzheimer's book, which is extremely informative, called The End of Alzheimer's. I know there's a couple of books named that. This one came out this year in 2017. It's by Dale Bresnahan or Bresnahan, something like that, and it's pretty good. So I want to focus on that a little bit because eliminating those symptoms myself, which I believe are at least partially caused by amyloid beta buildup in the brain and the other things that he talks about in the book, will be a huge benefit. And I want to keep struggling. Struggling is actually really important, reaching and for something that you're not able to do, because it helps build new circuits in the brain, it helps coat the circuits in myelin and make them stronger. So I want to keep stretching myself. No matter if you're going up or down, it's good to keep stretching yourself. And I got a couple of books that I finished The Art of Fiction by Ayn Rand, which is something I started years ago and read most of it, but never really finished up. Super interesting. She's the most precise writer I've ever encountered. Very explicit knowledge of all of her mental processes, and it's interesting. Also, somewhat of a bit of a depressing philosophy at times, because you're always being measured against this extreme perfection, which is, I think, why a lot of people react against it. And then let's see. Oh, I'm going to finish up my Harry Potter book today, and then maybe I've got a long ways to go in my book in Narnia I'm in, and then Elantris. Elantris by Brandon Sanderson is excellent. It's his first published book. He'd been writing for 10 years. He hadn't been published up to that point. His first published book is amazing. Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. It's going to go on my list of super good books that I want to look into and study. And then The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared is still good. It's just there's something not as good about it. It's not as good as Narnia or Harry Potter or Elantris. It's like the plot is kind of just ambling along. And it seems like someone that tried to stretch out a plot. and it's, you know, there's a bunch of odd circumstances, and it's fun for a while, and I'm over halfway through the book, and it's just not as engaging as it was at first. At first, it was kind of humorous. It was a unique style, and some of that is wearing off on me. Uh, but it's still interesting. I still like it. And I'm probably not going to get that or Narnia done. I'm going to get Harry Potter done. I'm in the second book of that, and I might get Elantris done, but I got like half the book to go on that, so I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. And then I won't read or write for or you I won't be able to check a computer or my phone or anything while I'm at this meditation retreat. So I'll be completely cut off, which will be interesting. It'll be very interesting. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully it goes well and some positive stuff comes out of it. I'm hoping.